Hey guys, Jacob over here. Welcome to the 5th episode of BrewTalk, and in this episode we're going to be discussing this past week in Brewers baseball. So the Brewers this past week, they went 4-2, winning 4 of 6 games. They swept the Reds, who they continue to own this season. They've only lost once to them in 3 series, I believe. Or maybe it's 2 series, I don't remember. Then they lost 2-3 against the Pirates, including a very disheartening loss yesterday to the tune of 9-0. Pitching was terrible, offense was terrible. But the Brewers are now at a record of 20-15, and they are right in the mix. They are in second place, just behind the Cardinals. I think 1.5 games behind the Cardinals for first place. So, it was a pretty up and down week. I mean, the Brewers might have only lost 2 games, but I mean, the sting of those 2 losses. I mean, those losses really hurt against the Pirates, considering the Pirates are still right in the mix, just like the Brewers. I mean, the Brewers, you feel like they could have done better. Even though it wasn't bad, you feel like they could have done better this week. And, I mean, especially the hitting. I mean, Ryan Braun continues to really be the only guy who ever gets clutch hits for this team. I mean, the team was shut out the day after that. We only had 2 hits yesterday in the loss, the 9-0 loss. Like, I don't really know what it is. I don't know what the solution to this problem is, but the Brewers have been shut out 7 times already this season, and that's a problem. That's a problem. So, I don't know what the solution to the problem is, though. I mean, you could go ahead and fire Darnell Coles. I've always liked Darnell Coles, but I mean, the approach at the plate is, I mean, it's pretty clear that the Brewers, every time a player comes up to bat, they're trying to hit a home run. And that's not the approach you want, especially if you're a team that is projected to score a lot of runs and relies on your offense. You can't rely on the home run ball, especially if you're a team like the Brewers. So, I mean, the Brewers play in a hitter-friendly ballpark. I mean, it'd be nice to see them try and manufacture runs for a change. I don't know, like, what the issue is here. I don't know if firing Darnell Coles is necessarily a good idea, because it could just be a knee-jerk reaction. They just could be off to a slow start. I mean, we're only a month into the season, so I feel like any firings or anything like that would be a little bit over the top right now. But clearly the Brewers need something to change for them if they want to continue to be successful offensively. I mean, they can't keep getting shut out like this. And come October, like, if they're still doing this kind of crap, it's not going to be a pretty sight, especially if they make the postseason. On the flip side, though, the Brewers' pitching has been great. I mean, they had a few bad games against Pittsburgh and Cincinnati this week, but other than that, I mean, Jules Chacin, or Jolice, I don't know how to pronounce his first name, Chacin, he's been pitching great. We missed Zach Davies' start this week, but I mean, the pitching in the bullpen too, and that 8 strikeout performance by Josh Hader in 2 2/3 innings, that was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in baseball. Like, I think that was a record, 8 strikeouts over 2 2/3 innings, the most strikeouts over 3 innings ever in baseball history or something like that. It was, I mean, Josh Hader's definitely an all-star this year, and the bullpen is amazing so far too, with the exception of Jacob Barnes, who had a really rough outing yesterday. But other than that, like, the Brewers have been pretty good pitching-wise for sure, and that's come to a surprise to many, especially myself, because, I mean, the Brewers, coming to the season, it looked like the pitching was going to be the big issue for the Brewers, but it hasn't been so far. It's actually been the strong point, especially the bullpen. So, I mean, it's been a pretty up and down season. Even though the Brewers are 5 games over 500, it's been pretty up and down. So, you'd like to see the Brewers get a little more consistent, especially on offense. I like to think that the Brewers are going to eventually figure it out on offense. Obviously, you got to figure something out at shortstop, at second base, and at catcher, because those are the 3 positions that are just not hitting the ball right now. I mean, Orlando Arcia, I think Arcia will eventually snap out of it, but he's hitting like 222. And second base, I mean, it's a rotation of Sogard, who really needs to get sent or DFA'd at this point. Sogard is practically useless. He had 2 good months last year. I think it's time for him to get on out of town. He's hitting like 100 right now. He's just not producing, and he's a 31-year-old guy who has a career batting average just over 240. I don't know why the Brewers keep him on the team at this point. Perez is not hitting well. VR is really not hitting that well. I mean, there's been discussions of Manny Machado being traded to the Brewers to alleviate some of the middle infield hitting problems. So there's a solution for you, but at the same time, like, you're not going to be able to keep Manny Machado for more than this season if you do make the trade, because we're already shelling out $80 million over 5 years to Lorenzo Cain, and you got Yelich and Braun on that contract, and I mean, you want some money for pitching too. Like, I don't think that Machado is going to be spending that much time on the Brewers if the Brewers do intend to trade for him. So, I mean, it'd be cool to have him for a season, but I mean, unless you think that this is the season to do it, which I don't think it is, to actually win the World Series, then I think you're kind of that's too much of a knee-jerk reaction to don't trade for him. But I mean, the Brewers, they've got some problems in some places, and Stephen Vogt also at the catcher position, they got Bandy's been terrible for the most part. Manny Pena has been okay, but Stephen Vogt just got a setback. I don't think I'd say that I doubt the Brewers see him back this season as in a Brewers uniform. I mean, he's had a lot of setbacks. I don't know if we're going to see him back as a Brewer this year, but I mean, other than that, I mean, the Brewers got a lot of issues to figure out, but it's early in the season still, and I'm going to keep preaching patience to you guys. Just be patient. Just let it all work itself out. I think that come All-Star break, I think this Brewers team is going to have itself figured out, because this team is just too talented to struggle for this long. And I mean, it's hardly even struggling. I mean, it's a lot of just kind of, you think that they should be doing a little bit better, but they're actually doing really well as it is. So, anyways, though, that's all I have to say about this past week in Brewers baseball. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. You guys follow me on Twitter at Oversports41512, and I'll see you guys next time, and go Brewers.